Hello everyone, I'm Rosphere, and today we ask the question, what do we do about modding in Final Fantasy XIV?
焼ける命の本流受けるがいい FF14 タイマー
So as I pray, unlimited blade walks.
So I've made a video about modding in Final Fantasy XIV in the past, and it wasn't even that long ago. And that video focused more on the mods that are borderline hacking and not really considered mods in my opinion. And after I had published that video, I continued my research and ended up finding many mods, quote, mods, that were literally just hacking and would have been considered hacking in pretty much any other game that exists currently, including World of Warcraft. I'm using World of Warcraft as a comparison because the mods in World of Warcraft are ridiculous. There's a mod for literally everything that you can possibly think of. But putting that aside, we'll talk more about World of Warcraft in a moment. An example of a mod that I would consider hacking within Final Fantasy XIV, and I won't give the name of this because I don't want people to go actually download it, because this is hacking, it is cheating. It links your Final Fantasy XIV with OBS in a way that breaks the max FPS limiter of the Final Fantasy XIV client, allowing you to have shorter GCDs within Final Fantasy XIV. And there's many other mods like this that do similar things that give you just straight up advantages, breaking the actual game client. This is hacking, it's not modding. And the reason why something like this is made possible within Final Fantasy XIV and more easily accessible in Final Fantasy XIV than even games like World of Warcraft is because of the Final Fantasy XIV devs' stance on modding itself. Because all add-ons are against the rules in Final Fantasy XIV, they're all located in similar locations. The hacks, and the small quality of life improvements like chat bubbles. The biggest issue with modding Final Fantasy XIV or using add-ons is essentially the creation of a black market at this point. For example, in World of Warcraft, we have a huge add-on creator community, and people can support those add-on creators through CurseForge, and people actually make a living off of just creating add-ons within World of Warcraft. And because of this, there's actually a lot of safety measures that are in place in World of Warcraft currently that weren't there necessarily in the early days of add-on creation and really aren't there in the Final Fantasy XIV add-on creation at all. And we just not that long ago in Final Fantasy XIV had that issue with G-Shade that the creator of G-Shade was inserting malicious code into his program. And this brings me to the main topic of this video, and that's Xenosis Vex promoting or not promoting mods within Final Fantasy XIV. I've recently come across quite a few of his videos on YouTube because generally I don't watch live streams. I do sometimes, but more often than not, I just watch clips and short videos of an actual live stream. I find that more interesting and easier to consume than sitting there for 8 hours to get that 13 minutes worth of content. That being said, in his more recent content, he has been promoting mods, and it's really kind of skirting the rules where he's showing people mods and then telling them, I'm showing you this because I want you to know what not to do. I want you to know what not to download. Like, that's why I'm showing you this mod.
Do not get this. Never. Okay? Never. Okay? You never want to get this. Yeah. So this is to spread awareness of what not to do. So if you see someone with this mod, then you unfriend them. Dude, what was that last one? What was the last one? Oh, the Dragoon LB. Okay. Can I? Okay. Yes. I'm going to link this video. Okay, I'm going to link this video to spread awareness of what not to do. So you will know by the link that if someone links you this, you know not to click on it, okay? You know to tell people about this and to tell them to not do this. So there it is. Make sure spread awareness, yeah.
And some of the mods that he showed are just nothing short of incredible. And honestly, like, if I wasn't playing and streaming, I would be running most of these mods. They're so cool. Some of them are absolutely awesome. I wish there was stuff like that created for World of Warcraft. But the main issue here is these mods, the really cool ones, are being thrown into the same bucket as actual hacks, actual problems for the game. Things that are breaking the game client to cheat are in the same bucket as these really cool mods, and they shouldn't be. And it's because the devs are refusing to act. They need to do something. And in my opinion, The Final Fantasy XIV devs have been complacent on this topic for far too long, and it's getting to the point now where it's putting their player base in harm's way, and we saw this again with the G-Shade inserting malicious code into their program. Even though that code was mostly harmless, it does show that it's very easily possible for somebody to just insert malware into their program for Final Fantasy XIV and get all kinds of information from people. There's no safety net in place for stuff like this. Now, what Xeno is doing is essentially equivalent to what I would call accelerationism. In my opinion, I think accelerationism is probably the best way to actually get the devs to really say something and really do something, and possibly even get us official add-on support, which is what we need in order to protect the player base from issues like what happened with G-Shade, and to separate things that are actual mods or add-ons from things that are actual hacks and things that are breaking the game client in order to cheat within the game. It's not okay that these are both put in the same bucket, and something really needs to be done about it, mostly because of that. So what I think should happen in order to get the devs to do this, in order to create the accelerationism needed to make modding in Final Fantasy XIV even more omnipresent than it currently is, more Final Fantasy XIV creators like Preach, Zepla, Xenosis, Arthurs, all these creators, the big creators within the Final Fantasy XIV community, need to start doing something similar to what Xenosis is doing, where they're promoting mods by telling people not to get them. I think if the larger creators all started to follow this same trend of accelerationism, we would have a response from the Final Fantasy XIV devs. They might just ask the creators to stop, but if they continue doing it, the devs will have to do something about it. And it's to the point now where they've ignored it for so long. I think they need to be forced to do something about it. As wonderful and awesome as the creators of Final Fantasy XIV are, and they're some of the best game devs probably on the planet as far as MMO creation goes, they need to be pushed into this. Because you can't just sit there and ignore it forever. It's getting to the point now where it's actually becoming a danger to the community. And again, we saw that with G-Shade. It's just the best example that I have for that. I'm not going to actually talk about the hacks that are out there and stuff like that. I'm not going to give the names to those because those, honestly, like, what's to stop anybody from putting just malware into their program that you wouldn't know about, and it's just feeding information to the mod creator for whatever mod or add-on it is. I mean, it's possible for somebody to even put a miner like Bitcoin Farmer on somebody else's computer through the download of some of these mods. Like, the stuff that's actually possible to do with some of these mods is crazy, and you wouldn't even know that you're downloading it. You think you're just downloading some graphics add-on or chat bubble add-on, something like that, and you end up getting malware on your computer. And there should be some official add-on support so that we can make sure things like this and malicious software don't actually make their way onto people's computer through the download of add-ons for Final Fantasy XIV.